Lesson 11. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. This is the first idea we have had that is related to a major phase of the correction process, the reversal of the thinking of the world. It seems as if the world determines what you perceive. Today's idea introduces the concept that your thoughts determine the world you see. Be glad indeed to practice the idea in its initial form, for in this idea is your release made sure. The key to forgiveness lies in it. The practice periods for today's idea are to be undertaken somewhat differently from the previous ones. Begin with your eyes closed and repeat the idea slowly to yourself. Then open your eyes and look about, near and far, up and down, anywhere. During the minute or so to be spent in using the idea, merely repeat it to yourself, being sure to do so without haste and with no sense of urgency or effort. To do these exercises for maximum benefit, the eyes should move from one thing to another fairly rapidly, since they should not linger on anything in particular. The words, however, should be used in an unhurried, even leisurely fashion. The introduction to this idea, in particular, should be practiced as casually as possible. It contains the foundation for the peace, relaxation, and freedom from worry that we are trying to achieve. On concluding the exercise, close your eyes and repeat the idea once more slowly to yourself. 3 practice periods today will probably be sufficient. However, if there's little or no uneasiness and an inclination to do more, as many as 5 may be undertaken. More than this is not recommended. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Yesterday we talked about how if we're not thinking with love, if we're not thinking with God, then we're not thinking thoughts that have any real meaning. And the Course says that in that case, when we're thinking without meaning, when we're thinking without God, when we're thinking without love, we're not truly thinking at all. So we have minds that are preoccupied, that are full of meaningless thought, of nonsense, of distraction, of weeds, not helpful. And the Course says that all thinking, even those kinds of thoughts, produces form at some level. So remember, we also said yesterday, thought is on the causal level, produces a result, which is the effect. So those thoughts, those crazy-making thoughts, they may not have meaning. They may be meaningless, but they're not formless. There will be some kind of experience, form, result produced as an effect of those thoughts, because your mind is that powerful. Your mind was created to create, even miscreate. When we really grasp this idea, we can understand more clearly really why the state of the world is what it is, right? The meaningless, chaotic, painful, traumatic world that we are seeing now is a reflection of the meaningless, loveless, chaotic, painful thoughts that we have personally and collectively, this is important, collectively thought. The Course says that an idea grows stronger when it's shared. It's the power of your mind, the power of God within you to create. Thought produces form. So if we are distracted and preoccupied with those loveless, fearful thoughts, the world is going to reflect that back. They're meaningless, and that's meaningless, which means the good news, it can be changed. It can be altered. So the Course is aiming to remind you that you have the power to think differently, to see things differently. You have the power to think loving thought, to think meaningful thought, and the world will reflect that back to you as well. The Course says that only what you are not giving can be lacking in any situation. And I know at first a lot of people go, what are you talking about? But that is what a miracle worker does. A miracle worker understands the nature of the world, the nature of the meaningless world, how we can transform it. Only what you're not giving can be lacking. So where you perceive lovelessness in an unloving world, the miracle worker gives love. The miracle worker expresses love. And that helps other people to be reminded of the power to work miracles within themselves as well. Reminds them of their perfection. Reminds them of their holiness. It pulls them up out of the trenches. And it fortifies, strengthens that knowing, that understanding within the miracle worker. Love is always the gift to give. Love is always the remedy. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Do these lessons, close your eyes, watch your thoughts, open your eyes, look around, let them rest, repeat the idea in your mind in a casual way. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. And we will learn how to change the world with meaningful thoughts, with the thoughts of God, with the thoughts of love. Stay tuned. Keep going. I'll see you tomorrow.